On today's episode of Messy Joy, Vanessa interviews author Elisabeth Warner. They'll explore how to discover the sacred hidden within ordinary moments, share heartfelt stories of finding meaning amidst daily routines, and offer practical tips to enrich everyday life. Trust us, it's an episode you won't want to miss. And it all starts now.
Welcome, Elisabeth. I'm so happy to have you here at Messy Joy. For those of you who don't know Elisabeth, she's an accomplished author. She's a mom, a stay-at-home mom of a young little boy who will be 4 this next month, correct?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your role as a mom, being a stay-at-home mom. What's that been like in the last 4 years?
Oh, we had a lot of ups and downs, really. It's been an emotional roller coaster. And honestly, it sometimes feels like you're running a marathon because you just need a lot of energy and it takes a lot out of you physically, mentally, and emotionally. But through that, I have learned just to find joy in everyday moments and to understand that every part of the journey is a season and it has a start date and an end date. And you just have to embrace whatever season you're in.
Sounds too familiar.
Right.
Sounds too familiar. Now, can you just share a small, ordinary moment from this week that felt unexpectedly sacred?
Yeah, you're gonna love this one. So on Wednesday, my son he woke up and he wasn't feeling well, and my husband was going into work. My husband works from home some days, and so the days where he goes into work, I kind of feel a little extra pressure, now I'm alone, if something happens, it's all on me, and. On Wednesday, he had just happened to be going to a baseball game also after work. So I was like, now I'm really alone.
Oh, so we're alone for 12 hours.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, my son wasn't feeling well. And I'm like, now I have to keep him home from school. And I was like, oh, and I was also worried, am I gonna get sick now, whatever he has? So I also was thinking, it's not sick season anymore.
Right.
Kind of got past flu season. I'm like, what could this possibly be? So I remembered back to when my friend had the stomach bug back in December when everyone was getting it. And she said, she was laying in bed and she said, Lord, what do you want to teach me right now? And I said to her, when I'm going through that, I'm not thinking, Lord, what are you trying to teach me right now? I'm thinking, Lord, get me out of this.
Right.
And make me better again. So I was like, you know what, God, this is happening. I don't know why it's happening, but I'm going to choose to trust you and just lean into it. And so we snuggled on the couch. It turned out to just be allergy. He's not contagious. He just to just be allergies.
I was going to say that. Maybe it's just allergies.
Yeah. So yeah. And we just got renovations done on our house. So we still have some dust in the house. Mm-hmm. So probably was just something like that bothering his throat. But yeah, but then he ended up being fine. We had a great day, and so it ended up being, God ended up showing me, first of all, he was with me and that he was able to give me peace and give me what I needed in that moment.
Wow. And it's the little things like that, right? Just changing your mindset that can change your whole day around, your whole parenting moment, instead of getting overwhelmed and stressed and just saying, and listen, I do it all the time. When the kids are sick, it's another level of stress just entered into your home, and you're just okay, what are we going to do now? Are we all going to get, and now, wait, you have one kid. When you have multiple kids, you're just so now how do I start separating these children? How do I make sure this one doesn't get it if they're running a fever? So it just adds so much stress to the already stressful day. Mm-hmm. But I think looking at it the way your friend did, that now reminded you to just kind of sit back, take a deep breath and say, all right, Lord, what are you trying to teach me today? Mm-hmm. What is this all about? I'll take it. And you kind of just laid there and snuggled, and it ended up being a great day.
Yeah, it was nice. We had some good quality time.
Right. So, your husband wasn't there. Do you feel like you handled it like a champ?
Yeah. I feel like sometimes, and that's something that has happened too, where I've had moments where I've been alone, where it's just been me. God shows me, I've equipped you to do this. And you're the mom that I chose for your son.
Right.
So it reminds me every time, and that's one thing too, that it says in the Bible that our trials build our character.
Yes.
And so when we go through trials, we realize the gifts that God has given us and just the strength that we didn't know we had.
Yes. That's so true. That's very true. Now, in the world we live today, we're constantly on the go. Both parents and most households are working parents and both out of the house. Some are very fortunate where they can be home, mom can be home, and that's great. But what do you think we're missing from our everyday routine?
I mean, honestly, I think we're just rushed in general. I think no matter if we're stay-at-home moms, whether we're working moms, no matter what, or anywhere in between, I feel like we are just kind of programmed to rush. And I feel like that started even when we were like in college. It's like, oh, you're going to college. Like, what are you going to major in? And then, you're graduated from college. When are you going to get a job? Like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? You have one kid. When are you going to have another kid? Like, when's that kid going to start school? When's that kid going to start baseball and soccer and all the things? So like, I feel like we're just programmed to always be looking for the next best thing and the next, and waiting for the next season of life. And so I don't think we stop to appreciate what we have right now. The newborn stage, like, I can't wait till he sleeps through the night. I can't wait, the toddler stage, I can't wait till he can control his emotions. The preschool stage, I can't wait till he's in kindergarten. So he like goes to school all day,
Right. So like what would you like, what advice or what tips or what have you found helpful for yourself when you're going through these sleepless nights, when you're going through the tantrums, when you're trying to discipline and you're just feel at a loss that I just can't do this anymore? Like, what has helped you to kind of look at it as this is just a season? Like, this isn't going to last, for my whole life. What's helped you in those moments?
Yeah, well, I do think about those older people who mean well. Let's say like, enjoy this time. It goes by so fast. And I always tell like new moms, I always tell them, like they always say like, oh, enjoy the time. Like, and it's hard to enjoy when like, you aren't sleeping at night and everything like that. But not only do the good times not last all the time, but the bad times also don't last.
Right.
So just center yourself and remember that like, this is just a season. You're going to get through it. And it's not going to last forever.
It's actually a good reminder because sometimes we just get so overwhelmed by the chaos in that moment that we just lose track of, okay, they're only this little for such a short period of time. If you really think about it, in the newborn stage, by 12 months, they become now a toddler. So it's just 12 months, which sounds like a lot, but when you're in it, 12 months goes like this. And then the more children you add, forget about it. Like, time has completely run away from you. So I think that helps. And I think sometimes when I've been in moments where I'm just so frustrated, to be honest, and overwhelmed and stressed out, where I'm just like, I just can't wait for them to do X, Y, and Z, or I can't wait for them to be a little older because then this will just be easier. But I feel like part of me, when they are a little older, I'm going to look back and say, wow, I missed the little problems. Because as they get older, right, we always hear like older kids, bigger problems, little kids, smaller problems. So I think one day we'll be sitting there thinking, gosh, I want the sleepless nights and not have to deal with, who they're dating or who their friends are. I mean, right? Like, what's ahead of us? I don't even know. I don't even want to think about it because then I'll just, spiral and start stressing. But yeah, I think we just sometimes get ahead of ourselves and we look at the little moment as a big moment, which it is a big moment in the moment, but it's a big moment that's going to pass. And sometimes we forget that.
Exactly.
Do you think modern life makes it difficult for parents, particularly mothers, to find spiritual significance in a daily task?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, I think our culture in general, like besides the spiritual aspect, I think it's like if you're not making money, like it's not worth something. I feel like we have that kind of mindset where like, you get a reward. If you don't get a reward for it, like it's not worth doing. And motherhood is a very thankless job. Like your kids, and you get to a point, like now my son's at an age where like he says like, I love you, mommy. And like, I love that. It's so great.
Of course, it fills you out.
Exactly. But yeah, it's true. It seems like if you're not making money, if you're not like being productive with your time, like even some days as a mom, like you're just getting through the day. You're not getting anything done. The dishes are just sitting there, like the laundry's piling up. Like you're probably
you haven't changed since the morning. You're in pajamas.
Yeah.
Dinner is going to be either microwave something or you're ordering it.
Like peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter jelly for lunch and dinner. It's going to add a different fruit to your plate. Seriously, I've totally been there where I'm like, yeah, it's going to be pajama day today, guys. We're all going to stay in our pajamas. Mommy's not changing. And we're going to eat cereal and peanut butter and jelly and just change the fruit in your plate. And we're going to call that lunch and dinner because we're just trying to get through the day. But I find it interesting and so true what you just said about if you're not getting a reward, it's not important, or it's what are you doing it for? And I think as stay-at-home moms, I think they feel the brunt of that. And sometimes I stop and I think and I think of these moms and I'm saying to myself, you are doing more than a job. You are shaping these little kids. You are yes, catering to every single need. And then if you have a strong-willed child, they're like the boss, and you're just like submitting to a 2-year-old, which sounds crazy. But aside from all of that, you're molding these little humans into good humans of society, right? You're teaching them, you're feeding them, you're clothing them, you're teaching them how to be respectful. And I don't think there's a price to that. I don't think you could ever put a price tag to what a mother does
exactly
in her home. I mean, if you think about it, and there are jobs out there that are wonderful, and jobs that are you're working with humans and you're giving back to the community, and that's great. But when you're working inside your home and you're building these children who you're gonna literally let out to the world, and you don't want little selfish kids, out in the world. You want to build these kids up so that they are respectful, so that they are compassionate, so that they do become what God has called them to become. Again, there is no price tag to that. And I think moms need to remember that you are doing the most valuable job there is out there. And I don't think you will find that reward, or I don't think any job out there, and I'm gonna just say it bluntly, could fill you up like motherhood fills you up. Even in like your worst moments where you're just like, I can't do this. There's days, and I can like tear up thinking about it. There's days where your husband walks in and you're like, I'm walking out because I don't want to do this. And then at night, that guilt comes in and you're saying, God, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, I want to be right where I am. And I think what I like to remind moms, it's okay to have those moments that I'm talking about, where you just don't want to do it, or it becomes stressful because it grows you and it changes you. And those are the moments where God's trying to teach you something, right? Whether it's patience, whether it's, I don't know, finding joy. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about this?
Great. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Open up a big can of worms. A good one. A good can of worms.
I don't want to start making you cry, but yeah, it just like, it hits home.
It does, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I see motherhood like as a ministry too, like where you really, like this is what, I wanted to share this story. When I was pregnant with my son, I was a baby when it came to morning sickness. And so like when the morning sickness hit, I just sat in bed and I just like was crying, and I was like, Lord, like I need a word. Like I need a word to get me through this, because I don't know if I can do this. Like just this part. Like I can't even do like holding the baby, like carrying the baby. Like how am I gonna do like the rest of his life? So
did you go into like panic mode?
I did. Yeah, I was freaking out.
Like, I don't know if I'm excited for his.
Yeah. And so it happened to be Sunday. Thank the Lord for that. And it was during COVID. And so like everybody had church online. And so like I watched a lot of different church services. I was like, Lord, like, please, like teach me something. And I was listening to one, and the song The Blessing came on, and you know how it goes like, may his favor go before you and behind you and beside you. So then the pastor gets up and he looks right at the camera, and I was like, he's talking right to me.
Right.
And he says like, God's favor is above you. His favor is behind you. And he points to the camera. He's like, his favor is in you.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I just started crying. Crying. I was like, wow, like God has this child, like he has a plan. Like this child, I think he was like 7 weeks old at the time, 8 weeks old, something like that. And 8 weeks in my belly. Like not even the size of like, an
avocado.
Like not even that size. It was the size of like a coffee bean or something. Yeah. And I was like, wow, you already have a purpose for him. And we didn't know the gender yet or anything yet. Yeah. So we were just like, I don't even know my child's name yet. I don't know the gender. I don't know anything about this child, but you do. Like, you have a plan.
That's right.
And and at the same time, it was like, and I'm using you to help him find that plan too. So it really changes your perspective when you realize like that God is the one who like made you this child's mom,
Right.
All your children, no matter how many children you have, like,
he chose you.
Yeah, he chose you. Yeah.
And he chose you perfectly for these children. And I think that's a good reminder. It's that he chose you to mother these kids. And there's no other mother out there but you fitted for these children.
Exactly.
And I mean, that like gives you all the power to just be like, yes, I can do this.
Right.
I can set this kid straight today. And sometimes that's not the case, but
you win some and you lose some.
Exactly. So some days there's days where you've given up completely, and they're walking around with crayons and they're about to paint the wall and you're like, you know what, just do it. Like you try to discipline them, right? And you're like, do not paint that wall. Like step away from the wall. But then you're like, you know what, just do it. They're giving you a hard time. You're like, go paint the wall. We've got the magic erasers at home, in a box. We'll clean that wall before daddy walks in. You like you said, you lose some, you win some. You just can't do it all. How has becoming a mom shaped your understanding of what's truly sacred?
So I've learned just to be more intentional with my time and my energy. I feel like you said, like we've been talking about how seasons are so short and like how it goes by so fast. Like, so that makes me intentional to say like, God has given me this moment as a gift, whether it's a hard moment or an easy moment. There's something, even if it feels completely hard, there is something to appreciate about it. So I've learned just to be intentional with my time, like, instead of being on my phone, like just putting it down and like spending quality time with him and, asking him, even, I read something somewhere that like there are 9 important minutes of your day. So the first 3 minutes when you wake up, when he comes home from school, and then the last 3 minutes of the day, like getting ready for bed and going to bed. So I've been very intentional about those times.
Wow, I've never heard that before, but that's powerful.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't even going to say it, but that
wow,
that stuck out to me. So now when he comes home from school, we just sit in the car. He gets a folder that like of everything they did for the day, and I'm just like, tell me about your day, like whatever he wants to talk about. I don't try to pressure him like, who are you talking to? What did you do today? I just say like whatever you want to talk about. We had a snack, and it's like intentional time.
So you park yourself in the driveway or outside of school, and you just have these 3 minutes.
We're like, tell me what you learned in school today. Like, what did you do? What do you have in your folder? Like, what do you need me to know? And he just talks about his day and like what he did and what friends he talked to. And I'll ask like follow up questions like, oh, like who'd you play with today and things like that. But I don't try to like drill him with like a million questions. I just let him talk and see where it goes. I just try to be intentional with the time and knowing that it's a gift.
No, I love that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the 3 minute rule. But there's probably, like I can imagine, and I'm speaking for myself, there's probably days where you're just not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just not happening. And even though you wake up and you did spend time with the Lord, or you prayed right before you started your day, or you read a scripture, you threw on some worship music, there are days where you just aren't feeling it. It's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that? Like, I'm not gonna say that you beat yourself up over it, but you just can't find the sacredness in that moment or in that day. Like, how do you react to that, knowing at night when you're laying down and you finally have like 5 minutes to decompress, and then that mom guilt starts rushing in, like, oh yeah, you kind of like messed up today, or you like just zoomed through today and he asked to play and you just not ignore him, but you were so focused on moving on to another task or running this other child to a sport or picking up, the groceries. Like, how do you not, I guess like justify not finding that sacred moment?
Well, one thing motherhood has taught me is it's in 2 Corinthians about like how God's grace is sufficient for us. And I come back to that a lot. I need God's grace.
Yes.
And as I'm a recovering perfectionist, I feel like I always try to pack my day with like, I have my to-do list and everything needs to get done. But I've learned like as a mom, like you just can't. You can't do everything. Like if you play with your kid, then the dishes suffer, like if you, are short with your husband, like if you're patient with your son, you might be impatient with your husband. Like it's, you just can't be everything all the time. And you just have to say, okay, God, like I did what I had to do today and I just trust you with the rest of it. And I ask for forgiveness for all the times I messed up, but I also know that your grace is enough and you'll get me through the rest of the day. And I also wanted to talk about the value of community as well, because I know like you and I are friends.
Yeah.
And just normalizing that like we don't have to be perfect, and just normalizing that we are going to have those bad days. Just hearing it out loud, like saying your friends saying like, oh, I've totally been there. It just makes a world of a difference. It's like, oh yeah, you struggle with that, like me too. I totally get that.
Right.
So yeah,
I think that's powerful. And that's another thing. I think as moms, sometimes we tend to not be so open about our day-to-day routines or the struggles that we're facing in the moment, whether it's with your older kids as teenagers or during the infant stage, the newborn stage, or toddlers, the terrible 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. You sometimes see, and I think social media has a lot with this as well, where, you see your friends or you see this one person that you're following and they're posting all these pictures and all this content with their children, and you're like, oh my gosh, she just, she got dressed this morning. Like she put on makeup and she got her kids dressed and they're out at the park and they're having a cute picnic and they're now going to go for ice cream. And you're like, I couldn't even brush my teeth this morning. Like I haven't even showered in 2 days. How come I can't get my kids together and out the door like this mom does? And I think that comparison is not like, and I say this being funny, and as a reminder for myself, when I see those moms on Instagram, it's like, that's fake. That's not real. Like that didn't happen. And maybe it is real. Maybe you are that mom that gets up before your children gets up and you get yourself dressed and makeup done and you're out the door and your kids look like they came coming out of a magazine, and that's wonderful. And like somebody talk to me because I want to know how that,
Right. Seriously.
what's the tips? It gave me all the tips. So at the same time, seeing these things on social media really could kind of affect you in a way where you're like comparing yourself. But it's okay. Like the majority of us, if not all of us, we're going through the same exact thing. And if we're not going through it in the very moment, we're going to be going through it. You know what I mean? So I think it's so important to have that community, to have a community of moms where you can just be honest and say, listen, pray for me because my kids are acting wild and I have no patience today. And I also find sometimes when you share what you're going through with your child, the mom sitting next to you is like, oh, that happens to you too? That happens in your house? Your kids act that way? It's like, yeah. And it's almost like a sigh of relief, like, oh my gosh, like there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with my kids. Like this is normal. So yes, normalizing motherhood, and not only the good things in motherhood, which of course we all want to hear the good things because there is more good than bad in motherhood. There's so much joy in motherhood, but the hard times, like the hard moments, we have to be okay with talking about them and sharing them and being vulnerable. And I think you and I talked about this, like the importance of when you become a mom, like building your community, whether it's with, your sisters who have kids around the same age or have children, or just friends, new friends that you meet at the park or at your child's school. Like it's so important to really have those mom friends that you can go to, because the reality is you need them. You need them because motherhood isn't easy. And who can understand you? I mean, other than Jesus, but who else can understand you the way a mom can? Another mom that's in the same boat, struggling, has struggled. And I have my neighbor, my friend, Rebecca, and it's so funny. I remember her one day, she reached out and she said, I'm so happy you tell me everything that goes on with Nicholas because I'm prepared and I'm not. She said something along the lines like, when I see Tommy do something or act a certain way, it like reminds her like, oh, Nicholas went through it. This is normal. Like, I'm going to get through this. And I'm like, yeah, so there is power in sharing, the messy part of motherhood and the struggles within.
Right.
But yeah, that's just so good. What specific routines or rituals do you and your family use to ground yourself spiritually throughout the week?
So I have a couple of tips because honestly, when we're in especially the early stages of motherhood, where we're like, we don't really have control over our time, and honestly, our hands are, carrying babies, like between nursing and all that stuff, and the feeding. What really helped me in the beginning and still now, I listen to the audio Bible. So like, it's instead of like reading the Bible, like I just like have it on. And so like while I was like feeding my son, like in the early days, like I would just listen to it. So that is definitely helpful. Like when you're on the go, like when you're in the car or something, like you're still getting the word. You're just, you're not like reading it specifically. But it also unlocks a different part of your brain too. Cause like when you're reading it, like you interpret it a certain way. And then as you're listening to it, you like gain new insight. So it's like, it's really awesome that happens. I also just discovered breathing prayers so like you take like a Bible verse and you like breathe in and then you breathe out. So like, for example, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So you breathe in and then you say like, the Lord is my shepherd, you say it in your head, and then you breathe out and say, I shall not want.
Oh, interesting technique.
And it just, if you only have like a second to yourself, like all you have to do is breathe, and it like helps you just go like, okay, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, or whatever, or like my grace is sufficient for you, like we said before, like God's grace is enough, and that just helps you
breathe
like
through it
and breathe through it. Yeah.
Wow, I'm going to try that too.
Yeah.
The 3 minute and the breathing. What are you calling it? The breathing prayer?
I think it's called the breathing prayer.
Okay.
It's a real thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you
It's a
can
real
definitely
thing.
look it up. Yeah.
I'm definitely going to look that up. But I love that you shared these techniques. I love that you shared the 3 minute rule. And I think it's so important to just take these little things, these little piece of advices, these little things that you hear or you see on social media and incorporate them, of course, if they're going to benefit your life or make it easier or just change things. I mean, you said in the beginning, your friend saying when her kid was sick, Lord, what are you trying to teach me? And that's like something so simple that can change the whole situation around and can take something overwhelming and frustrating into something in like your situation. It turned out to be a great day because you just kind of leaned on him and you trusted that through this, something good's going to come out of it.
Right.
So it's great. Is there anything else you want to share?
Just you saying that actually reminded me, just sometimes in motherhood we can feel lonely and God is always with us. Like, and he shows us that. So when you were just like reminding me of like when my friend asked like, Lord, what are you teaching me? Like God was there to answer that question.
Yes.
So when you're feeling alone, when like the kids are going crazy, when your house is a mess, like God is with you right there. You know, and he's going to tell you exactly what to do. You know, he's going to give you the wisdom. He's going to give you the peace. You might not hear it like in actual words, but like, you know, you'll have that sense of peace. Like, okay, God, like I know what you're calling me to do right now.
Yeah.
And he's there with you.
Thanks so much for coming today. Thanks for joining us. I'm hoping that you'll be back here at Messy Joy. But for the audience, if you can just let us know where they can find more information about your series. I know that you have a newsletter, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I have a website, elisabethwarner.com, and I send out a monthly newsletter. You can just sign up right on the website. And I also have a devotional blog that encourages people who have anxiety and finding joy in everyday moments.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you for joining us today on Messy Joy. We invite you to join our community by visiting messyjoyshow.com and subscribing to our various channels. Remember, even though life can seem messy at times, there's always joy to be found. We'll see you next time on Messy Joy.